In 1969, the divorce rate was really low. And in America, it was especially low in where I grew up, my area. In fact, I was the only kid in my high school that was from a divorced family. I was the only kid my last years of high school and junior high that was from a divorced family. Well, it was kind of like the plague. It was kind of like COVID is right now. If you were from a divorced family, people didn't want their kids to play with you because they thought you'd be a bad influence on them. Now, I had my dad and four little brothers, and um, we were clean. There was nothing wrong with us. We had food. My dad did a good job, and I was old enough and had been trained, being the oldest of five, to take care of things. I mean, I knew how to do laundry. I knew how to cook. I knew how to clean. I knew how to do pretty much everything I needed to do. My mother made sure of that because the story continues that I came home on the first day of first grade for my baby brother and found a note on the table from my mother that said that she was leaving and she had left her wedding bands. And the letter continued to say, Rena's old enough to take care of the four boys, and they're all in school now. So it was my baby brother's first day of first grade. It was my junior high year, my last year. That's a big, big deal. And so it was traumatic, but we didn't know what trauma would unfold for all the rest of our life because of it. My baby brother was like my little brother. He was like my baby. It wasn't just like my brother. And when he was 18, he was killed in a motorcycle wreck. And so I feel like I lost a child before I ever conceived and bore a child. And if you fast forward, most of you know my story. Then when I was 24 years old, we'd been married 4 years. We had our first baby, and my first child died of a heart abnormality. So it's trauma after trauma after trauma, abandonment after abandonment after abandonment. And when I would put it on a timeline for someone that had asked me years ago, I just put it down there. It was like, nah, yada, yada, yada. This is the events that happened, as if they happened to somebody else. In fact, I never really even said my grandma. I'd always say my mother's mother. I wouldn't say my grandpa died. I would say my mom's dad died. I wouldn't say my baby brother died. I would say my youngest brother. I wouldn't take ownership of my timeline. So while you're doing your timeline, you need to take ownership of your timeline. And as you're taking ownership of it and you're writing it down, a lot of times memories come up that you've kind of not looked at for a long time. And maybe when you unpack them, you'll have a lot of emotion. I had a lot of emotion, like beach towel emotions, all right? Not tissue emotions. And one of which was when I realized the age I was when my mother left and the age my baby brother was when he left. I thought what would have been a celebration wasn't a celebration at all. And then I thought about, and can you imagine? That was kind of what I wanted to share with you today. Can you imagine the transition from a child to a woman with no other woman in the house? And no one's told you anything. And you grew up as a country girl and you knew nothing. I thought I was dying. I had no idea. And then when I found out what I didn't know, I was humiliated and embarrassed. You put that in your life, and you know what you decide? No one's going to know anything private about me. I will never share anything. I will try to find everything out on my own. No one protects you. No one sets you up for wins. You better set yourself up for a win. I started believing lies and started putting foundational stones in my foundation that had no business being there. I mean, God is always there. God puts people in your path to take care of you. God puts people in your path to help you. If you start thinking about who was there at that time, somebody always showed up. When I was sick and had a horrific fever in the third grade, my mom and dad weren't there, but someone who I called uncle, who wasn't even my uncle, was there, I think I would have died. I mean, he picked me up, carried me to the restroom, fed me soup on a spoon, really took care of me. And those things in my foundational stones made me also who I am today and made me say, you know what? I will never let someone not be taken care of. I will mother everyone. And those of you that I'm your spiritual mother, or those of you that I've mothered you in the natural or, distantly, that's true. I'm going to set you up for a win no matter what. I'm going to take care of you. And if I'm not feeding you physically, which I love to do, I'll feed you spiritually, but you don't have to go it alone. So the things that came to destroy me and hurt me and made horrific memories on my timeline also made me who I am today and brought me where I am. So, when my dad died, I videotaped him and I said, Daddy, if you could do something over again, what would you do? And he said, oh, baby. He said, I wouldn't want to do anything over again. I said, you wouldn't want to live certain years over again? He said, no, I wouldn't. He said, because I'd be afraid I'd miss some of the things I had. And so if you'd ask me, would I like to live my life over again? Would I like things to be different and have a different life? No, I wouldn't. Because I am what I am. Because if you can only imagine what I've been through. God bless you, and we'll talk again tomorrow.